Okay, y'all know I have short-term memory loss when it comes to these seasons, but this ain't the wildest first 6 episodes, like, ever, if not ever, in a long time. Like, there's a girl on here that might go blind, and somehow that's the most normal storyline. Also, if you think I'm gonna make a joke about a girl going on Love is Blind who one day might go blind, it's not happening. But imagine if she... All right, welcome to Taste Take. If you're new here, today we're talking about the first 6 episodes of season 9 of Love is Blind. And that's all I've seen, but I'm gonna be talking about them like you've seen them too. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular taste takers, look, I don't know, maybe it's recency bias. Take, use a school word, but this ain't the most unhinged opening couple episodes. I don't know. Boom, episode 1. This one's called A Love That Sparkles. All right, everyone hurry up and get in here. We got a lot to go through and we don't have much time. Last week, I did a Meet the Cast video where I broke down all 32 of the new singles. It was largely nonsense and grossly unhinged, but if you're into that sort of thing, it's somewhere floating around here. So you can go watch that one, then come back because we got to get through this. All right, let's go through episodes 1 through 6. We're going to start in the pods, and by the end of it, we're off to Mexico for the pre-honeymoon. Cool. Of course, we start with Nick and Vanessa Lachey, who are back again as hosts. Netflix continuously reminds us that that's theirs and they gonna stick beside them. Okay, before the pods actually open up, you know Nick and Vanessa usually get like a question or two so we can just get to know these people a little bit before we start. And I normally skip this, but here we got at least 2 things I gotta touch on. First, we find out that Edmund, aka Burger Boy, grew up in the foster system. I mean, does that mean we gotta chill? Not like he's still in it. Number 2, like I said in my intro, we find out that Madison has an eye condition that could literally cause blindness. Shit getting too realistic. Oh, and I guess the third one would be when Megan W tells us that she wants to make sure that these guys aren't here for her money. Yes, this is the same girl that said the way to her heart is anything that sparkles. You started this. All right, whatever. The pods are officially open. Okay, here are some off the bat pod highlights that I wrote down. First, when Calibria goes on that date with Rohan gets in there, he's like, hey, my name's Rohan. She's like, you gonna have to spell that for me, girl, respectfully. Your name's freaking Calibria. His name's Rohan. Then I took some notes down about Casey and Patrick's first pod date. This is when she randomly tells him that she's good at 3-pointers, okay, and that her sister sings in Korean. This dude's like, huh? Oh, and that she used to be Mormon. Holy moly. Patrick's other connection is with Anna. They're both talking about how they generally have only dated white people. They shouldn't even be allowed to be talking like this. I don't really know how to police it though. Talking about some, yes, my parents are also from another country. All right, some other connections are forming because then we see her talking to Blake. And honestly, this is not important, but like, that's how I know Denver is boring as fuck. Because all these people are asking, hey, what does your typical Saturday look like? What does your typical Sunday look like? Y'all only go out on Saturdays and Sundays? Honestly, I was drunk last Monday. And this video is late because I went out last night. Sorry about that. Anyway, this girl, Anna, tells Blake, well, you don't sound homophobic or racist, so that's a good start. Also, what do you mean? Blake's other connection is with Megan W, who feels the need to tell everyone that her nickname is Sparkle Megan. Quite possibly the worst sounding nickname in the history of nicknames. She thinks guys are intimidated by her, but I ain't gonna front. She even talks rich. Then they bring in some money for her. Enter Mike, who she felt the need to ask, does he go by Mike or Michael? I don't know. I feel like he just told you what he goes by, but it's not important. Whatever, her and Mike are talking so much rich shit, I had to put the captions on. She's like, look, bro, even though I'm rich as fuck, I still value traditional gender roles. Me as a woman, I'll be the nurturer. I expect you as the man to be the provider. Go off, you independent traditional queen. And to complete Megan's love square, we have Jordan. Jordan is the single dad. Jordan, again, works in transportation and logistics. He says his title is branch manager, is giving hurts. He tells her that he drives a 2013 Kia Forte, and she immediately starts to break out in hives. She tells him, my car is not that, but know that I have a blinged out emblem. And I honestly can't think of anything more gaudy. The next pod connection is with Anton and Allie, whose full name is apparently Alini. And these nerds can't figure out what their couple name would be. It's obviously Antolini. Do I have to freaking do everything around here? Okay, what do we know? Allie is from Brazil and she used to be in the Army Reserves. She's also super hot. So let's just get that out the way so we can move forward. Anton is Russian, but he's got some family in Ukraine. So obviously house divided. It's kind of like me being a Knicks fan and I got some family members who are Celtics fans. No, it might be a little different. Over to y'all's friend Edmund, who is just as weird as we would have imagined. But honestly, there's a part of me that's like, low key, this is fine. Cause like, he's not trying to be nobody else. And like, when you're weird and like embracing your weirdness, who am I to hate? His connection is with Calabria. Honestly, is it Calabria or Calibria? I'm gonna say both the whole video, so get used to that. One of their first scenes, she asks, where's my man? I just gotta show it. And there's gonna be a lot of those when it comes to Edmund, because like me describing it.
Yeah, I do feel it. I'm like, where's my man?
I'm right here.
I know that's right.
Could never do it justice. This nigga's a whole cartoon. How in the world did he play college football? This whole time in the pods, he's moving around like a little kid. So far, he's only told Calabria that, you know, he grew up in the foster system and that one day wants to become a substitute teacher because his 5th grade teacher changed his life. This is where he gets a little emotional. And, you know, she's like, no, it's okay. You can let it out. And he's telling her like, no, I came to grips with the fact that it is okay to cry. Good for you, Edmund. This whole pod date is what I will call a lot. Then to another tough watch. I hate these two already. This is a pod date between Joe and Madison. This is when they're having that stupid conversation about talking about their perfect date night. She says she wants to start off in 7-Eleven so she can get some flaming hot lime Cheetos. Then she wants to do karaoke. She's like, okay, after 7-Eleven and karaoke, then what are we gonna do? Joe has a mini stroke. He doesn't know what to say. He's like, 7-Eleven, karaoke. It's the most awkward. I mean, we're gonna have to move on. The bad news is we come back to them. So the faster I move on, the faster we can go through, you know. Okay, then watch this, because now we're back with Anton and Allie. He wants to know where they stand. She says, I love you. He says, I love you too. All this stemmed, well, it looks like it stemmed from her having a dream that she picked him up from prison with his mom. Then this nigga asked her to marry her. I looked at my watch. I said, there's 20 more minutes of episode 1. What are we doing here? Anyway, Anton goes back to MQ to get that love. Of course, Edmund's in there dressed like Quillman. Then Allie goes back to WQ to get her love. Okay, now back to Jordan. Also in MQ, he's showing the dudes pictures of his kid and crying and stuff. Anyway, his only connection is with Sparkle Megan. And go ahead and report me to the Better Business Bureau for even calling her that. Also, nobody asked me this, but this dude, Jordan, reminds me of a mixture of John Mulaney and this dude from Role Models. Okay, get serious, because in this pod day, this is where we find out that Jordan's kid, Luca, has type 1 diabetes. Boy already got the sugar. Whatever. No, because you just told them to get serious, and then you said Jordan's kid got the sugar. What are you doing? Why you did that? Why did I do that? That's ownership. Okay. We also find out that Megan's dad also had type 1 diabetes. He passed away in 2020. So condolences to her. There's no such thing as a long time ago. Anyway, Megan says she laughs nonstop with Jordan, but she doesn't think their lives align. It's because he's poor. She knows that he can't afford her. She's also probably not stoked about him being a single dad. And not only that, the kid having diabetes. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not calling her out for that because it's not like these are simple things. These are like fair complications to consider when, thinking about a partner. So just putting it out there. Also, she didn't say that. I'm just saying what could be happening. Then Megan is back with Money Mike. This is where he tells her he's a part of a tribe of wealthy men. This is a cult. I don't know how she brushed by this, but after watching him and One Battle After Another, I'm on high alert. This man's telling her how he needs a woman to go grocery shopping for him and do the cooking. Then out of nowhere, he tells her, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my place has a hot tub and a sauna. Bro, who asked you that? All right, then to complete the Megan love square, we have Blake. I forgot this dude even existed, but they're on a pod date and they connect over both of their dads passing away. The episode's about to come to an end, but of course they're going to cliffhanger us with this Allie and Anton reveal. So let's just go on and move on to, boom, episode 2. This one's called Love Me When I'm Blind. And honestly, Netflix, if you don't just fucking chill. Okay, we left off at this Anton and Allie reveal. Look, the first kiss was a little awkward, but after that, it seems fine. She's like, wow, you're real. Your hair. I love your hair. He's like, yeah, I like your hair too. Let me get a look at that hair. Honestly, bro, we're not trying to get a 360 of that thing. The moral of the story here is that he can't believe how hot she is. And honestly, neither can I, even if she burped in his face. Let's just get out of here. Unfortunately, then we have to go to a pod date between Joe and Madison. These two by far have the worst conversation. This is where it starts off. That stupid cat and cat hair. But then, okay. It does get serious. Now I need you to get serious now with me. This is where she tells him about her retinitis pigmentosa. And I'm not going to laugh about any of it. All right. So in a nutshell, this is a genetic disease. You get it from one or both of your parents. About 1 in 4,000 people have this, and you get it from the time you're born. It basically affects your vision the most in low light and like in peripherals. This girl's out here missing high fives. Although we talk about how she could go blind, complete blindness in this condition is rare, but your vision will continue to decrease as time goes on. And unfortunately right now, scientifically, there's nothing that can be done about it. The point is, this condition is part of the reason why she even signed up for Love is Blind in the first place. She wants to know that she can have a connection with someone without seeing them. Anyway, in this scene, Joe comes across very supportive. They seem to like each other, but in a way that I've never been more certain will ultimately fail. The next pod date, we're with Nick and Kate. And I know for a fact she didn't get permission from Trey Taylor down there at Crew Tractor to have those bazookas out like that. Anyway, I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Nick is wearing Yeezy sneakers in this climate. This young man, Kanye West, is currently beefing with Harriet Tubman. This is no time, no place to be wearing no goddamn Yeezys. But also here's where I realized that I think Nick got a little sugar in him. And I ain't talking about that type 1. No, because I think this video is going to be the one. Get serious. Here is where we find out that Kate was engaged before. Her man cheated on her 3 months after her mom died. This girl was still grieving. Oh my golly Wally. All right. Okay, but Nick also has a connection with Annie. I think we're seeing her pretty much for the first time. She wants to know if he's really ready for marriage. But honestly, she's really just horny. She thinks everything is sexy. Oh, you want to touch my back? Sexy. You want to hold my hand? Sexy. You want to change the channel? Sexy. You want to take a nap? Sexy. Girl, relax. Then she asks him, I'm going to get closer. What's one thing you would wish for? He says an extra inch. Jesus Christ. He says his meat is short, but super wide. It's a chode. This is only episode 2 for those of you who are counting at home. Listen, as much as I would like to get through the rest of these pod dates, I have to report the news. And part of the news is showing this complete Edmund tweak session back at MQ. This dude, Brendan, is all of us. He's looking at, let me just show it.
Ed, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Oh man, I'm good. You got your mouth on this floor?
My man said your immune system gotta go crazy. Brendan, Edmund tells him it just feels good to be kissing something. It's been a long ass time. This dude is in prison. Netflix casting, where did you find this person? Or did you create him in a lab? Honestly, Calabria watching this back in the comfort of her own home, she gonna be like, good Lord, I didn't know. But in all fairness though, he be tweaking in the pods too, so I know she getting a little peek. And speaking of KB, she's over at WQ telling the other girls how good of a connection is that she has with Edmund. These girls are looking at her like they could see what I'm seeing. Then, because Netflix ain't had no show since they was mailing DVDs to your house, they let us watch KB tell the homies how mature Edmund is, then cut to a scene where this dude's spinning around like a Ninja Turtle. But whatever. We're on to their next pod date. What does this dude even have on? Are these shorts? Me seeing your knees while you're wearing pants? That has to be a federal offense. But no, we can't get into all that nonsense because KB is getting serious. She's like, hey, how did you come around to forgiving your mom after all that she put you through? Remember, this dude was in foster care and now he has a relationship with his birth mother. He tells her, well, it's because she's my mom and I know she loves me and I'll always love her regardless of what we went through in the past. Sheesh. Gotta take a beat there. This dude is 95% of his life on a full tweak. But that 5% might be very powerful. Anyway, here she talks about her struggles with her absent father and how it's kind of like she's grieving someone that's still here. Their connection is connecting. Who would have thunk? To go from what we just saw in the quarters to this conversation, season 9 don't got range? Whatever. Okay, let's do a quick speed round with Megan and her quadruple. Jordan's up first. I don't know if she likes him all the way. Then we got Mike. Mike is currently wearing those Skechers that old people wear when they want to walk around the mall before it opens. Yeah. Rounding it out with Blake, and I don't know what they were talking about. All I wrote here is that her friend is getting married in Lake Como, and her friend rented out a venue to get married. And the venue cost $400,000.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Imagine like living in a $400,000 house, like for you and your family, and someone just paid that to dance and eat with their friends and family for an evening. We all got to work harder because there's levels to this. Okay, the next pod day is with Blake and Anna. Something about when Blake's on the screen, I'm not hearing anything. Are y'all hearing what he's talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what they were talking about. But this is where he set up that camping thing. This is the most elaborate pod date I've ever seen set up. And maybe, of course, like I'd be forgetting everything. But like, again, I don't know what they be talking about. But this dude, Blake, I wrote down in my notes, is the most normal dude, which is probably why. Well, we'll get there. Anna also likes Patrick. And unfortunately, that's because they both found out that they're Asian. She has no idea that she doesn't think that he has any other connections. Insert Casey. Casey and Patrick are on a pod date. This is when they were shooting hoops. She goes on this whole tirade about knowing what his ethnicity is. That's probably why she brought the basketball hoop out in the first place. She's like, if he's making these jumpers, he's got to be black, whatever. Anyway, after about 45 minutes in this torture chamber, he finally caves. She's like, look, I'm half Cambodian and half Chinese. Honestly, this was just very annoying of her to drag this out of him. And like, I like this girl. At first, I thought she was low energy. Then I realized she's just chill, but I'm closely monitoring the situation. Okay. This next part is super important. So just stop scrolling TikTok just for a second. I promise I'll get you back there. This is when Patrick goes on his TED Talk to Casey about how insecure he is about being Asian. He's like, look, Casey, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people don't find Asians very attractive. My whole life, I was told that I was handsome for an Asian. So I've been self-conscious about this my whole life, the way I look. I grew up uncomfortable about the way that I look. This is important. Just keep that in here. He's basically telling her like, look, I grew up in Colorado. I do white shit. I'm just like you guys. And I don't know, for a second it was giving that he wasn't very proud to be Asian. I don't want to jump to conclusions, just what I was thinking initially. But here's where Casey starts to get me back in the fold. She's like, look, bro, don't even trip. I got 4 brothers. They're all in interracial relationships. 2 of them date Asians. My family would love if I brought home an Asian dude. I'm like, Casey, this is such good news to hear. This is important because no matter what, each person is an individual. But if a family is used to welcoming other races into their home because of their kids' romantic partners, that's a big step, especially in Denver. Especially y'all used to be Mormon. So like, for what it's worth, that is relevant information. She says, I don't care about the race. I go off heart. And unfortunately, I need you guys to vividly remember this moment. Okay, last two scenes of the episode. First, we're with Joe and Madison in the pods. Netflix starts showing us these lowlights of their relationship. Then this dude proposes. What is even going on here? I mean, them things was thangin', but that's not important. The last scene is with Patrick waiting on Anna in the pod. They just had this whole kumbaya moment, realizing that they're Asian. Furthermore, that they're both Chinese. But Anna seems to be at a family reunion. Boom! Episode 3. This one's called Ghost Town. And I fear that this may be the best episode title in Love is Blind short yet storied history. We're back with Patrick waiting in that pod alone. Back at MQ, Blake finds out that Anna has gone home. And this wouldn't even be an oh my golly wally moment of the episode if Anna ain't just have this long ass conversation about never ghosting anyone. What are you doing, Anna? Whatever. We'll get back to that. Now we return to Megan and her less than fantastic four, starting with Mike, who's on this whole thing about health and wellness and how he wants his kids to be healthy and sexy, because that's not creepy at all. Then to Jordan. I think here's where he tells her, like, sometimes I am a little materialistic. She's like, yeah, the fuck you are. He's like, I actually have a pair of Gucci shoes. You know what that was giving? It was giving when that girl was like, I do cuss a little. Anyway, she tells us that Jordan surprised her in that sesh. She still likes Money Mike, but Blake is her number one. Okay, sounds good. Now let's go to some footage with Megan on a pod date with her number one. Now they're showing us playback of Blake talking to production about how he might want to go home. He tells them, look, I just need more time. Blake has officially left the experience. Oh my golly molly. This is episode 3. I told y'all it's too much. It's too much. This is where we see Megan dressed up as Top Gun Maverick, all sad because Blake went home without saying goodbye. Wasn't that conversation about ghosting between Anna and Blake? Okay, now on to what will likely be the worst reveal of the season. We're with Joe and Madison. I just don't trust this dude at all. He moves like he's on drugs, and I need to remember that I said that. Anyway, they do this reveal, and he keeps repeating, this is not what I expected. This is not what I expected. 1000% the wrong answer, pal. She's like, are you happy? Is there attraction there? He's like, yeah, I guess. I don't know how this girl can't see that this dude's just not into her. Then I remember, all right, whatever. Look, people, they're going to do me like Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm not ready to lose y'all yet. So from now on, I'm going to chill. But that means y'all got to chill too. Okay? Okay, over to Edmund tweaking as usual with this track thing, but Nick gassed it, so the minstrel show will continue on as planned. Okay, for our next scenes, remember that we got these two triangles. First, it's Annie, Nick, and Brendan. Then it's Nick, Kate, and Annie. At this point, shit is trigonometry. Anyway, Nick and Annie have another one of their horny-ass pod dates. He tells her he's gonna go home and work on himself because he's so backed up. 5 minutes later, he's on a pod date with Kate, telling her that he loves her. And look, I don't want to get too graphic here, but 10 minutes ago, you told Annie you were going to bust a fat nut all over yourself thinking about her tonight. So just wondering how it will play back, you know? Yeah, and to the people that say that watching my videos helps their kids fall asleep, I'm sorry about that one. Go back to sleep, little Timmy. All right, back to the only black people we go. We got a pod date with Edmund and KB. And it's more talk about experience. I swear, the theme of season 9, besides ghosting, is how everybody looks. Have these people heard what show they're on? You could go on any other reality dating show. This is the only blind one. KB's out here talking about, what if I'm chunky? What if I'm 4'11", but I got a balloon head? What if I wear a size 11 shoe, but I'm 4'11" and with a balloon head? Oh, God, shut up. But then they get serious again. She's like, I just want to make sure when things get tough, you down to ride. He's like, I have no concerns about that. She wrote him a note. She drops some nice words and says that she loves him. He says, I love you too. Then this dude gets on one knee and proposes. And in true Edmund fashion, he says, would you pretty please me? She says yes. I mean, contractually, Netflix should be forced to show her all the footage of him tweaking at MQ before she agrees to marry this dude, but I don't know. I guess he tweaks enough in the pods that she gets a good idea. Okay, we're back with Casey and Patrick in the pods. And honestly, I forgot what prompted this, but Casey tells him like, oh, that would be like me telling someone I look like Megan Fox. And honestly, shout out to you for knowing the lore, but relax. And then, of course, in true season 9 fashion, we're talking about appearances. Patrick is so uncomfortable in his own skin. Ugh. He tells her that his cousin said, I hate to even say this, that Patrick is like the hot girl that doesn't know she's hot. Ugh, this conversation sucks. At this point, I truly wish that Casey wasn't falling for this dude. And here's how the pod date ends. Patrick tells her, yeah, well, you know, I had another connection, but I had to cut that off. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean Anna who went home on your bitch ass? Okay, got it. A good friend of mine always says, men lack nothing more than audacity. All right, last couple scenes of the episode here. We got a pod date with Megan and Money Mike. Megan, fresh off getting ghosted by Blake, goes into her pod date with Mike, and she's like, hello? He's like, hello, you are currently being ghosted right now. And I hate to admit it, but he did get that one off. This is where he's telling her, like, I know you're dating 2 guys. She's like, how do you know that? He's like, and I know which one it is. It's Jordan. She's like, how you know it's Jordan? He's like, because I'm smart. Nigga, shut up. She tells him she's worried about their connection because he reminds her of her exes. Honestly, this whole conversation sucked, and I need to get out of here. Obviously, the episode ends with a cliffhanger of the KB and Edmund reveal. And we're all on the edge of our seats, just trying to see how big of a tweak it will end up being. Boom! Episode 4. This one's called The Dangerous Games We Play. Back to this Edmund and KB reveal. And honestly, yes, is it weird? Of course. But these two seem to like each other. Nice touch, by the way. Putting the KB on your shirt, bro. It's the little things. Congrats to the future freaking Mr. and Mrs. Tweak. Now we're off to a pod date with Nick and Kate. This is important foreshadowing. This is where Nick asks her, hey, are you religious? And she tells him about her mother's battle with colon cancer. Colon cancer was spreading through her mom's body for over 10 years. She's explaining to Nick, trying to, how when that happened, she questioned religion even further about how if there is a God, how could he let this happen to my mom? So essentially telling him, no, I'm not religious. These are the reasons why. And also, of course, condolences to her. All right. From Nick and Kate, we go to Nick and Annie on a pod date. And perhaps, this could perhaps be the most outrageous pod date in Love is Blind history. But before we get to the crazy, she tells him that she needs more reassurance from him. And that would make sense since he just told Kate that he loved her. So not a bad call out by Annie. She talks about how her ex cheated on her with over 20 women at this. It's not funny, obviously, but it's hilarious. And that would explain why she is how she is. He's like, whoa, I'm an open book. If you want to see my phone, you can have the password. All you're going to find is me sending pictures of my chode to my homeboys. All you're going to see is me sending pictures of my chode to my homeboys. And obviously, he didn't say that. I'm already late for work, so. All right, now to the serious part. Okay, pay attention. Put the freaking cereal down. Look, he asks her, hey, do you want to raise your children Christian? She's like, absolutely. He's like, hallelujah. Now, follow-up question. How would you feel if your kid told you they were LGBTQ+? She's like, yeah, I would like to think that I would always love my child. And I would. But I wouldn't be like, yay. And just like that, Annie is terrible. Nick says, I know exactly what you mean. She's like, yeah, I just want to make sure that they're informed.
What do you mean by that?
Nick then proceeds to ask Annie, and this is so crazy. It was so crazy, I had to check my calendar to make sure that it was indeed still 2025. He asked her, do you think it's like a fad? Annie says, oh, absolutely. Oh, man. Isn't it so annoying? God, I'm so glad you said that. Oh, finally. Golly, marry me now. Okay, here's what I really wrote right there. I said, okay, Nick and Annie are fucking nuts. Then get this, right? He tells her how when he was younger, he thought his mom thought he was gay. Look, me and your mom got a lot in common. And he was like, I was so embarrassed. I felt that I had to bring a girl home and smoocher just to prove a point. Sounds exactly like someone who's closeted would say. I mean, wow. What a scene. Denver, what are we doing here? I'm sorry, but if Annie is that scared of the gays, you can't get me to believe that her and her family are going to be okay with her marrying into whatever race Brendan is. Because it for sure ain't Aryan. Okay, we'll take a break from that ignorance. We're going to go from super fucking weird to just fucking weird. This is a pod date between Casey and Patrick. This is where we find out where like her ex wanted her to go on reality dating shows, including Love is Blind, and that he would just be there waiting when she got back. She's telling Patrick, look, that was the past. I don't have a backup plan. I'm only here for you. All of a sudden, it must have been a full moon out there, because she starts talking about how the girls could see her changing at Dub Q, and they saw her landing strip. And she's like, well, I could take that off right now if you needed me to. Well, this fucking dweeb Patrick is like, cool.
Just to be clear, when I said I was a baby seal, I was talking about my smooth skin.
Casey's like, good Lord, you fucking narc. Then I wrote, I hate this guy, and he's going to fumble this thing that he doesn't even deserve. Well, you know, I didn't know then. She tells him, I want to give you whatever you need in many ways. Patrick's like, oh, well, yes, I'm ecstatic to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are literally watching phone sex. I freaking knew that Mile High City wasn't about no damn elevation. She's describing all the things she wants to do with him when she sees him. Patrick finally starts to wake up. He's grabbing his meat. He's like, what else? Listen, if y'all one of those people that don't watch the show, you just watch these videos, this next part, you're going to be like, Chris, I know you be adding stuff to be funny, but I know this part didn't happen. And I'm going to tell you right now, it definitely did. Casey tells Patrick, I'm going to give you everything I have. I want to love you. I want to fuck you. And I'm going to fight for you. Patrick tells her, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Couple quick scenes here with Megan. First, with Money Mike. They're talking about tattoos. Of course, Jordan got his whole body covered. She's like, do you have any tattoos? He's like, why would I put a bumper sticker on this body? Mike, if you don't shut the fuck up. He's really intimidated by Jordan, and it's kind of sad. This dude's 37 years old. Jordan is 29. Like, bro, relax. Then she tells him that she used to date an almost billionaire. Yuck. She's like, oh, well,
he just worked all the time.
well, obviously, number one, what did you expect? And number two, bro, if I'm almost a billionaire, why am I working? They're just so greedy. Sit down. Then she starts talking about how she dated a younger guy who was super broke, but they had a lot of fun together. It sounds like she needs a little, what is it, Goldilocks? Just right in the middle. Then Megan goes to a pod date with Jordan. She's telling him how she got like 2 small tattoos removed. She got when she was 14 and 16. Honestly, isn't that illegal? Then the convo goes back to Luca, and forget what I said earlier. She says she wants to be in his life. This dude, Jordan, is loving what he's hearing. And I would have normally skipped this whole little scene, but it's important to talk about like the kid thing, right? Because, of course, he told her early on about his vasectomy, right? But it is reversible sometimes. So she was like, yeah, well, I was always thinking like, you know, if I didn't have kids, like, what would my purpose be? And he was like, yeah, I used to think about that too. But then maybe we could be each other's purpose. And damn, Jordan, I'm afraid you 1000% ate with that one. Money Mike could never. All right, over to another hard watch. We're with Ick and Kate. He's finally trying to come clean to her. He's like, look, I'm being pulled into some other directions. She's like, nigga, you just told me you love me yesterday. He's like, hey, don't use that word without the hard R. He's talking about how I always have love for you, blah, blah, blah. Then he's like, wait a minute. Could you see yourself opening up and exploring a relationship with God and religion? She's like, hell no, to the no. Just kidding. She's like, probably not. I've never been a religious person. Then watch this meltdown. Nick's like, never been a religious person? Are you serious right now? Like, who does this guy think he is? I'm not even considering a new relationship with broccoli, much less changing my spiritual beliefs for a nigga that told me he loved me 2 days ago while at the same time nutting all over himself thinking about another woman. I'll take things we're not doing for 500, Alex. He's like, but you told me about your upbringing. Now you like God. She's like, bro, I told you that when my mom died, I stopped even considering religion. He's like, good Lord. Well, I have love for you, but I'm afraid since you're going to hell, this is not good. Whatever. Anyway, after all that, he goes back to MQ saying he may have made the biggest mistake of his life. Literally shut up. This dude is clinical, because watch this. He is now in a pod date with I don't like anybody. He's telling her, hey, just had to break it off with someone. And they came at me with daggers. This is a TV show, so she'll be able to see. But whatever. Nick tells her, you're the one. You're the one I choose. Nick goes back to MQ and Joe's looking at him like I've been looking at him. It's the only cool thing Joe ever did. The next scene is essentially Annie giving Brendan the best gift she could ever give him, breaking it off. She's like, honestly, Brendan, we don't have serious conversations. I don't know where your head's at. I don't even know if you hate transgenders. Whatever. This ends. Good riddance. High key though, Brendan probably should have like matched with Casey, because Patrick definitely don't know what to do with that. Anyway, now Brendan got to go back to MQ, and for some reason, Nick's trying to give him advice. Brendan's looking at him like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Speaking of what the fuck are you talking about, we're back in the pods with Patrick and Casey. Casey says, I woke up so sure about you. This clown finally says I love you, and he's about to propose, but he can't propose without tweaking. He's like, this awkward ass play-by-play. I'm standing up now. I took one step forward, catty corner, parallel. Now I put my right knee down. Will you marry me? She's like, oh my God, yeah. I will marry you and I will choose you every single day. Whoa. This is the most energy she's ever shown. All for naught. This episode ends with Annie about to go on a pod date with Nick. Annie opens the door and it's freaking Brendan and they're fighting for his life. He's like, I'm not going to go down without a fight. Brendan, please. Let her go. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is a boss move and this is some shit that I would probably do up in the show. But not for Annie, bro. What? Y'all must not have had no serious conversations, because if you don't know this girl hates everything, you wouldn't like her. This is how the episode ends. Boom! Episode 5. This one's called I Want You to Want Me. Brendan is still in there lobbying for this woman's love. He's like, look, on day 2, I knew you were the one. On day 5, I knew I loved you. I'm going to fight for your love. I know what you want and I know what you need. What color are the towels in our guest room? She's like, Brendan, what color are they? She's like, you make me feel amazing. I wouldn't change anything about you besides your race. But Nick was sure about me, minus the fact that he told Kate that he loved her. This is not going to work, Brendan. I'm sorry. I wish you the best. Now Brendan goes back to MQ all sad. Edmund's face looked like he went to go get some fresh bugs, but he was all out. All right, now Nick and Annie are at their next clan meeting, pod date. She wrote him some manifesto. I forgot exactly what it said, something about purifying the country, but he proposes and she says yes. Now, do you guys want to see the latest, oh my golly wally moment of the episode? Yeah, I bet you do. Look at what happens when this dude, Nick, runs back to MQ to tell these fellas that he got engaged. This is the craziest MQ reveal. Look at this. I have to show this.
We're getting married.
No, stop.
Edmund is now ugly crying, seeing Brendan go through this. This dude, Edmund, is an empath if I ever seen one. Nick is like, oh my Lord, I didn't see Brendan sitting at the table with you guys. Where'd he be at? He goes to apologize and Brendan's like, nah, bro. All right, now this is a big moment. Well, we ain't know. Well, okay. This is the Casey and Patrick reveal. Yikes. The door's open. She's like, all right, let me see how Asian he is. They do the reveal. They hug, they kiss, and this is another dude that forgets to give the ring when he's supposed to give the ring. Now they sitting on the couch being all awkward. She's like, the ring? He's like, yes. The ring is something that I do have. Just can't get up at the moment. If you know, you know. This dude is nervous as fuck. It's kind of like he can feel what's happening, but he can't address it because she's so hot. But he knows. He has to know. All right. Now back to Megan. Her triangle offense is finally about to come to a close. And good riddance, because we trying to get to Mexico. She's got her date with Money Mike. He wrote her this nice long letter, which is surprising. At the end of all that, she's like, honestly, cool story, bro. This connection is not going to work. And you got to humble people like Money Mike. So good on you. But in true season 9 fashion, she can't even go 20 minutes without questioning her decision. Anyway, Money Mike goes back to MQ. Nick grabs him. He's like, wait, she didn't pick you? Bro, you're like the most eligible bachelor I've ever seen. She's going to need her EpiPen when she sees, and of course, we acknowledge the lore. But also, Nick, If you want Mike, just say that. All right, whatever, just kidding. Now, Megan is in the pods with Jordan. He proposes. She says yes. Let's move on. Okay, we got the last 2 reveals here. And we should be on the first thing smoking to Mexico, right? Cool. First up, we got Nick and Annie. They not even wearing their white sheets. Probably saving it for the honeymoon. Nick's like, I'm just ready to bust through that wall like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. He's like, Kool-Aid, isn't that what the colors drink? Just kidding. He obviously didn't say that. The point is, they seem to like what they see. All right, we go straight into the Megan and Jordan reveal. And what I'm not going to do is skip over the fact that Jordan got that shit on. Brother, you came correct. You came correct. Head to toe, my boy, you looking sharp. I'm going to uplift you. And the reveal is revealing. They seem to like what they see. Immediately, this dude's like, hold on. I got to show you pictures of Luca. Like, relax. Can you guys have one moment together, please, without this kid busting all through it? And, of course, Jordan is another dude giving the ring out all over the studio. Y'all never seen Love is Blind? Y'all dropping so many lines from the show. Y'all don't know where you're supposed to put the ring on? And would you believe Jordan told Megan, he wrote down in his notebook, Megan probably has a dumpy or a wagon. I'm sorry, what? I mean, she got a little something back there, but ain't no damn wagon. Relax. All right, everyone get packed up. We're going to Mexico, right? Wrong. We cut to a scene at the women's hotel, and Casey looks like she's fresh out of prison. She says, you just deserve somebody better than me. What? Boom, episode 6. This one's called Coming In Hot. We are back with Casey and Patrick. Right away, I'm like, oh, this girl hates him, but let's just wait and see. I don't want to jump to conclusions. She tells production he's not a bad looking guy, but she tells production he's not a bad looking guy, but he deserves someone that's obsessed with him. Production's like, and that's not you? She's like, no. Look, this is obviously a oh my golly wally moment of the episode. Because no, y'all don't understand. I made y'all put the TikTok down. I think that's what I said. Like, he went on a rant about how people think he's ugly because he's Asian. He spent all that time saying they call him ugly or just handsome for an Asian. This girl gave him 12 hours and was immediately like, no, thank you. Just a little too Asian. She obviously didn't say that, but she was thinking it. Okay, get serious. I fear this may be his villain origin story, so stand by. But this is not over, because now we have to watch Patrick fight off a literal stroke trying to figure out what's happening here. All of us at home, we know. The production team, they know. His ancestors, they know. This was secondhand embarrassment that Netflix surely will be paying a hefty fine for in a class action lawsuit in the next 3 to 5 years. Patrick's like, hey, you don't want to go to Baja? It's okay. We don't have to go to Baja. She's like, no, I don't want to do this TV show. He's like, it's okay. Do you want to go? She thinks you're ugly, nigga. Damn. I hate it had to be me to tell you this. She tells him, it's all these things. My family, it's just a lot. He's like, babe, don't worry about it. We can get through this. She's like, now I can't prove this, but, well, I know for a fact that Casey was thinking, look, bro, when I said my brothers dated Asians, I meant fucking smoke shows. Well, I said I couldn't prove it. This is all so gross, though. Like, he really thinks that she just don't want to go to Baja. Brother, she would love to go to Baja. She doesn't want to go with you. And to be fair, just to make this whole thing even more confusing, throughout this whole, what I thought was a breakup, she's still kissing on him, hugging on him, jumping on him. He's grabbing ass. You know what it was giving? This is what it was giving. You know those 911 calls? All right, just relax. You know those 911 calls when the person calling is in immediate danger, so they have to call and talk in code words? When they call, it's like, 911, what's your emergency? And then on the phone, you hear like, yes, I would love to order a pizza. And 911's like, ma'am, this is 911. And they're like, oh, you want my address? And then 911 finally wakes up. They're like, I'm sorry, ma'am, are you in danger right now? And they're like, yes. You guys never seen those? Anyway, Patrick, who couldn't read a room if it had closed captions, is telling us, I just think she wants to go home. I think she's genuine and that she loves me. Did she tell you guys something different? Netflix is like, we hate to be get the footage. We hate to be the ones to tell you like this. Will you roll that footage from 45 minutes ago? Casey tells Netflix, I unfortunately don't feel like my attraction to him is going to grow. Casey, he told you people call him handsome for an Asian. His cousin said he's like a hot girl. Doesn't know. She says it will be unfair to go to Mexico. I can't be there with him. Yeah, this is nuts. I try to tell y'all season 9 is all over the place. Is season 9 not all over? Am I just tweaking? It's not all over the place? Anyway, now we got 5 couples stumbling into Mexico. We're just going to touch on a couple quick little moments here, and then we're going to ride off into the sunset. Honestly, the first thing that I wrote down is that when Megan and Jordan pulled up, Megan's like, you normally stay at hotels like this? He's like, fuck no. She's like, we'll get used to it. You better go off. You better go off with your fucking rich ass. Okay, what else happened here? Briefly, KB and Edmund got matching shoes and shirts. Nick and Annie are being ignorant. I don't know. Anton and Allie, who we forgot was even on this show, she's talking about how $5,000 isn't enough for a ring and that it should be $10,000. Uh-oh. Trouble in paradise. Joe and Madison are talking and she's explaining to him how she be running into shit in low light. And for some reason, Netflix felt the need to show that actually happening. And y'all be thinking, I gotta chill? When Netflix start chilling, then I'll start chilling. How about that? More importantly, though, this is where Joe tells us that he's usually into thinner women. But in his words, attraction can grow. Joe, shut the hell up. Back over to KB and Edmund. And normally I would have skipped this part, but I have to address the fact that she literally did the Fresh Prince thing, pulling off her eyelashes. Y'all, you know about the Fresh Prince thing? Then in typical Love is Blind fashion, we get the first morning wake-ups, those first date excursions, all in preparation for the highly anticipated first couples meetup. And I do want to skip right to that meetup, but I have to address this KB and Edmund conversation. This is where she asked him that age-old question. What would you do if a big buff guy grabbed me in the club? All right. Edmund is like, what do you think? I'm going to call security. She's like, no, you don't understand. No, he grabbed me in the club. He's like, yeah, and I'm going to grab you and get us out of there. Over and over, he's like, no, I'm going to remove us from the situation. The whole thing was giving that episode of Boondocks. Remember when Tom Dubois wore his raincoat to the rally because you know they was going to have the fire hoses out there? And he's like, I thought we'd all wear our raincoats. Y'all don't know about the Boondocks. KB's like, all right, I'll reason with you. Let's take that away. He's not a big buff guy. He's your size, which also shade. Then what would you do? Edmund's like, look, girl, that man could be in a wheelchair and I'm not causing no static. I'm not putting my hands on no man. When I tell you I rewinded that thing, I said, hell nah, bro. Edmund had me rolling. If he was in a wheelchair, bro, this dude, man. At the end of this thing, me and Edmund, we might be boys. Let me see. I mean, listen, personally, yes, I'm going to protect my woman at all costs, even if I got to get beat up. But I truly hate this question. All right, now that we got that out the way, it's finally time for the meetup. All right, there's only 2 real themes that I took away from this meetup. 1, who's smashing and who's not. 2, how freaking annoying Jordan can be, especially when he's around Joe, who is 1,000% on cocaine. So when it comes to the smashing, we find out that KB is the only one that hasn't smashed. Edmund will soon be going back to MQ to make out with that floor. But yes, everyone else is smashing. Megan tells the crew that Jordan has been her best smash ever. Them rich niggas ain't putting the work in. Trying to tell you. Madison says Joe is an amazing smash. And obviously we got to listen to her because the rest of her senses have been heightened. And he says the same thing about Nick. But you know when you're smashing in the name of oppression, that experience is going to be through the roof. Allie tells them that she wanted to wait, but she couldn't. Then there's poor Edmund, who unfortunately has to wait until they're married, which is what KB told him they will do. This man Edmund is so backed up, they got my boy sucking the suntan lotion off KB's toes. Also, this doesn't need to be said, but watching Edmund suck that SPF 40 off KB's feet to Silks Freak Me is the blackest thing you're ever going to see on Love is Blind. All right, now to number 2. We're getting to the beginning of this annoying ass, drunk ass Joe and Jordan banter. Here's where Joe says that Anton is the best looking Russian he's ever seen. What does that even mean? Megan is trying to tell Jordan how annoying he's being. He's ignoring her. She's like, God damn, Annie's broke. Now Joe's going full meltdown. He tells Madison, I want to go back to the room. And as annoying as he's being, I would have been like, nigga, go. But Being a good partner, she's like, would you like me to come with you? Joe's like, no. Boop. Fast forward to the end of the night. And I'm sorry in advance, but it sucks. Madison comes home to her degenerate. She's like, hey, babe, how you feeling? He's like, huh? Who is that? She's like, it's me, Madison. Now who can't see in the low light? She's like, I just came back from the pool party to check on you. He's like, huh? What pool party? Whoa. This dude is tweaking harder than Edmund ever tweaked. This whole thing was so cringy, but unfortunately, we're not getting any cringe reprieve anytime soon. We finished this episode with KB and Edmund. They're debriefing the pool hang. And honestly, I feel like the women are the worst at trying to predict who's going to say yes at the altar. They always think everybody in love. And I guess women maybe do a better job of just pretending everything's good in their relationship. But yikes. That's not important. What's important is they're going to go into this whole smashing, no smashing conversation. She asks him, hey, is it okay that we're the only couple that hasn't smashed? She's like, look, bro, you only got to wait 4 weeks. I just don't hold sex to be as sacred as most people do. Because when I do my one night stands, I don't even let them niggas sleep over. He's like, Edmund is trying to gather himself. He's like, wait a minute. I can't have sex with my fiance and you got niggas that you don't even care about hitting. It's not funny. It's not. I mean, it's hilarious, obviously, but like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm saving myself for marriage. Cool, whatever. But why would you tell him that? Why would you tell him that you don't find sex sacred? You're having one night stands for my Greeks. What do you think he's gonna think? She thinks he's mad because they're the only ones that haven't smashed. No, he's mad because you're telling him you would give a rando a sesh, but this guy that gave you a ring can't get it until you're married. What even is this? We're loading up for a major tweak, but I gotta show y'all this last scene with Edmund, and just, I don't even know how to explain it, but
You talking about marriage, and if it don't work,
So if I can have sex with
you telling me this man ain't the Riddler? All right, well, look, before we get out of there, it wouldn't be an episode close if we didn't end on a tweak. And that's where we get this whole little breakdown of Edmund going on this whole, I'm too fucking nice. I'm too fucking nice. That, season 9. And boom, that's episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What day is it? What the hell? I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think? Well, it wasn't crazy. I thought it was so crazy. So many things happened. I might have did, what, almost one oh my golly wally per episode at least. Almost, I think. This is insane. Then the previews. I mean, the previews are obviously going on preview. But there's a chance where, like, the beginning hit harder than the end. But we gonna see. I don't know. I mean, y'all let me know y'all predictions in the comments. The point is, all right, cool. Let me get into the logistics. Next, all the way, hashtag all the way. Next week, they're going to do episodes 7, 8, and 9. I'll have a video next week. After that, they're going to do 10 and 11. And then I think maybe their reunion is 12. So, holy moly. Let me do my anything. As always, thanks for checking out Tate's Take. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. In the comments, like I said, well, let's just talk about what's going on in here. Who do we like? I feel like a lot of people are getting some weird vibes from Anton. I mean, I don't know. I'm not seeing them yet, but I could just see their relationship having some chinks in the armor. Pardon the expression. Yeah. Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace. Oh, man. Okay. 2 little housekeeping things. Okay. Number 1. Okay. I just made these new shirts because I always say sometimes you got to do shit. This is like, it says Taste Take on the back. So I saw those in the channel. So if you want to get one of those, you can just do that. Thank you. Cool. That'd be cool. I just got it and it's cute because it's like not like all the way black. It's like one of them like little charcoal things. It's like, you know, it's cute. I don't know if I could even. Oh yeah, it's there. Number 2, Love is Blind friends. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that you guys have to watch all my stuff, but I definitely said I wasn't gonna watch it. I don't watch any of the Love is Blinds where they're not speaking English. Like that's just, I didn't have time, and also I didn't have time. So some people are, you know, like, oh, you should watch it. It's really good, and I believe you guys. But some people were being a little rude in the comments about me not watching it. So just a reminder that one of these videos alone will take in excess of 20 hours for 1 week of episodes. So if I don't have time, I don't have time. So just want to set the expectation. And because so many of you guys have asked nicely about it, after this season, if there's like a little lull for TV shows and movies, maybe I'll go back to it, depending on how, like, maybe how these do. And then maybe I'll just watch it late and just be late, and just whoever cares to watch it will watch it. And I won't even care about like that it's not new, because some of you guys did ask nicely. Just want to just remind you guys, I just like making these videos for you, but it takes a lot of time. So now that we got that housekeeping out the way at the end, yeah. Also, did Money Mike imply that people who have diabetes are living unhealthy lives? That guy sucks.